Hello and welcome back to Let's Cook It. Tonight I'm going to make pork chops in mushroom gravy, and I wanted to let you know that you can use any cream soup, which is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using golden mushroom tonight, but you can use a cream of celery, a cream of chicken, whatever you like, or you can make your own gravy and pour over top of it. Now this recipe calls for 6 pork chops, but I found a package of 9, so I got those. And it's going to take a little bit of seasoning, salt if you like, actually any kind of seasoning you want. I'm not going to use salt and pepper on my pork chops. What I'm going to use is this seasoning that Rich got from Marshall's, roasted garlic and bell pepper spice blend. It says it's the gourmet collection. It's really good. I've used almost a whole bottle of it. So I hope he goes back to Marshall's and gets me some more because it really makes food taste really good. Okay, so what we're going to do, like I said, golden pork chops or just pork chops and gravy basically is what it is. You're also going to need an onion, which I have chopped up and got in this little bowl right here. And which I know did not show up on camera because I don't have the camera pointed down. And we've got some fresh sliced mushrooms. I got those at Aldi today. I got them already sliced up, so I didn't have to do any of that work. All right. Now, this recipe does not call for browning the pork chops first, but I'm going to do that because I think giving those pork chops a nice little sear helps seal in the juices, and it makes things taste really good. So now I'm going to point the camera down, okay? I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's my pork chops right there, yep. And you're getting a little bit of a glimpse of this vintage electric skillet. You're going to get another view of that in just a minute. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this seasoning and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top of these pork chops here. Just generously coat them because you really want that good flavoring there in it. And I'm going to turn on this electric skillet. Now I had it turned on a little bit ago, but it started smoking, so I had to turn it back off. Now, it doesn't have to be super hot. You're not cooking these pork chops all the way through, and they're very thin. So I'm just going to actually brown them on the seasoned side so we can just get that nice little brown sear to it. And then they're going to go in the 9 by 13 inch pan, and then everything's going to go on top of that, which would be the gravy, the cut up onion, and the mushrooms. All right, so let me put the camera right here on that electric skillet. This is a Goodwill find. I got it a couple months ago, and it's kind of like the electric skillet my grandma used to use when she fried her chicken. Always made really good fried chicken. Now, I did put a little bit of oil in the pan because they're going to stick a little bit. Just kind of scoot them around in there. Now, you know, anytime you handle raw meat, chicken, pork, you want to make sure you wash your hands afterwards. And I'm going to do that. Now, since there is a lot of sodium in the canned soup, you don't want to add a lot of salt because you really don't need to. Because the soup is actually going to have its own flavoring because of all that sodium. I'm going to walk over here and wash my hands really quick. I'll be right back. All right, and you'll notice I put that fork in the sink because I'm going to get a clean one to turn these. Take these pork chops out and put them into the greased 9 by 13 inch baking pan, which you're going to have to do. If you don't grease it, the gravy and everything might stick to the pan. That just makes cleanup pretty difficult. So let's get another fork here. Now I'm going to put the pan over here by the electric skillet. Just put them over there. They look seared enough to me, so I'm just going to put them in the baking dish. Now this is a pretty basic, easy recipe. It doesn't take that long to prepare, but it takes about 45 minutes for everything to bake. Now it might not take that long because these pork chops are pretty thin, but what you can do is buy thicker chops. You can buy bone-in pork chops. You can buy, you know, any kind you like, actually. All right. So you hear the dogs. They're really excited. They want to help me cook, I guess, because they know I'm making pork chops. Anyway, they're not going to get any pork chops right now, but they'll probably get a bite of it. Excuse me for going in and out of the frame so much. I just want to reach for everything. So what you want to do, once you get the pork chops in the pan, and you can see them in there like that, and now back up to me so you can see my beautiful, handsome face. I'm just kidding. So what you want to do, you want to take the gravy. Now this calls for two cans of gravy. And what I did, I didn't use 2 cans of water with it. I used about a can and a half of water because I like the gravy just a little bit thick, okay? Now we have this bowl of chopped onions. Just dump them right in there, into the pan. Spread those onions out, and I'll put the camera down there so you can see what I've done. Don't worry about that because I want you to see all the steps. And now I have these mushrooms. Now, be sure when you buy mushrooms that they're really cleaned off really well. I always thought fresh mushrooms looked like they had a little bit of dirt on them. I don't know if they're pre-washed or not. The package didn't really say. All right, so I'm going to put the camera back down here. And there you see, I put the onions in there and the mushrooms on top. And you just kind of want to stir it around a little bit. Probably would work best with a spoon. And I'm going to get a spoon. All right. So that way you can kind of scoop this gravy mixture over top of these mushrooms. Now, if you don't like onions and you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to put them in. You can just use the gravy. I know a lot of people don't like mushrooms. I happen to love them. And I didn't want to use canned mushrooms because I think they're just not that good. And fresh is always better anyway. Okay, so once you get everything all covered up like that, and it doesn't, like I said yesterday about that blueberry buckle, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to taste good. And I think this is going to taste pretty good, and I think you're going to like it if you make it. Also, I want to let you know that you don't have to use pork chops. You can use chicken breast or any kind of chicken. Actually, that works just as well. And any, you know, just brown the chicken like you would the pork chops, just to sear in those flavors. Now, you don't have to brown the meat beforehand. I just like to do that because I just think it makes it taste better. Okay, so that's really it for this step. And it does say to cover this dish before you put it into the oven. And I'm going to cover this with some foil. I will tell you that the oven is going to be preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe 400. I don't know. I think 375 is going to be okay because these pork chops are really thin. And I don't know if I'll have to bake it for the full 45 minutes that it says on the recipe. I might not. I might check it after 30 minutes. Okay, and I want to show you one of the side dishes we're going to have with this. Excuse me while I step out of frame and put this over here. Like I said, we went to Aldi today. It's one of our favorite stores to go to. You can get really good food there. It's a better food, I think, than some of the big chain supermarkets, and it's fresher, and the prices are better. They're not paying me to say that. I'm just going to plug Aldi right now because I like the store. All right, so I'm going to put the camera down here like this. We got some baby reds and some baby golds that came in a little bag. These are pre-washed. I didn't wash them. But what I did do, let me put this in the frame here. I sprinkled a little bit of oil on there. Any kind of oil you like is good. Kind of stirred it around. And I'm going to put some salt and pepper on these. We're going to bake these with the pork chops in the oven. I really don't know how long these will take to cook. I might not have to put them in as long. I don't think it's going to take 45 minutes because they're smaller potatoes. I might put them in the last 20 minutes of, you know, the pork chops in the oven. I don't want to overdo them because I know when these are cooked, they're really, really soft. So anyway, all right. And we're also going to have broccoli and cauliflower, which I have not made yet, but I will be making that. And I'm going to show you what I do with it. Basically, it's, you know, just going to be steamed. I'm going to make a little butter sauce to put on there with a little bit of seasonings just to pour it over there, just to, you know, give it a little bit more flavor. And that's going to be our dinner tonight. Okay, so I am going to pause the video. Oh, and before I pause the video, like I said yesterday, I paused the video, but I did not, and that's why I had two parts. I'm still learning this process. I stopped the first video and then restarted it and really couldn't figure out how to edit it back in or together. That's okay. Like I said, I'm learning, and you know what? Nothing has to be perfect. But I do want to make a good presentation for you guys, and I hope you like it. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to cover the pork chops and gravy and mushrooms and onion mixture, put it in the oven. The oven has preheated, and we're going to come back in just a little bit. We're going to check out the pork chop dish. We're going to check out the potatoes. We're going to also check out the broccoli and cauliflower, and it's going to be pretty good, I think. Pretty basic meal, but, you know, it's going to be hearty, and I think it's going to be pretty filling. All right, so I'm going to pause, not stop, and hopefully I won't have to do two parts. All right, so I'll see you guys in a little bit, and we will taste this before we really get into the meal. I'm going to put some on a plate. I'll cut a little piece of those pork chops off. I'll have some potato and some broccoli and cauliflower, and I'll eat it, and I'll see if it's good. And all right, folks, see you in a little bit. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and everything is done. In just a couple minutes, I'm going to put the camera down so you can see what it looks like on the plate. I did want to tell you that it does say to bake the pork chops for 45 minutes, but I forgot to mention that at the end of 45 minutes, uncover it and bake it for an additional 15 minutes. That way everything gets nice and, you know, nice and done. Anyway, so I think it turned out pretty good. The gravy is a little bit runnier than I had anticipated, but that's all right. We have some leftover mashed potatoes from yesterday, and we're going to be heating those up, and we'll have mashed potatoes with our baby reds and baby golds, because he says you can't have more than one potato at a meal. I don't ever say that. Okay, so for the broccoli and cauliflower, what I did, I made a garlic and lemon garlic and butter mixture for that. So I melted the butter, put some lemon and garlic seasoning in that, stirred it all up, poured it over the broccoli and cauliflower, and it does taste really good. Now, I did put the potatoes in at the same time as the pork chops and gravy, and I didn't have to leave it in very long at all. Like I said, these baby reds and baby golds, I know they cook up really tender, really fast, so they turned out perfect. I tried one when I took it out of the oven. It is absolutely tender. All right, so I'm going to put the camera down and let you take a look at what the food looks like on the plate. Here we go. So as you can see, let me get this in the shot, we have the broccoli and cauliflower, the pork chops, gravy, and onion mixture, and the baby reds and baby golds. Now, I haven't tried any of the other foods yet, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to be pretty good. Sorry about this cord right here. That's to the light I am not using. Okay, so let's go back up here. All right, folks, I hope you liked the video. I hope you make this recipe, and if you do, let me know. Let me know if you add anything or take anything out, and if you have a recipe that you'd like for me to try.